Good people, I'm very happy to interact with you on the screen. My name is Favour Rukombo from Zimbabwe, in conversation with...
My name is Baraka Joey from Kenya.
Yes,
Thank you.
we are happy to speak to you today about Africa, how Africa should be as Africa, without the need to depend on any other continent. And it's something that we are looking up for in this conversation. So today, we want to actually talk about the influence of Donald Trump since he got on power, the change and the transformation of the US aid that is happening in Africa. We have heard from different countries, the likes of Kenya, Zimbabwe, Uganda, South Africa, and many other African countries that are actually crying and grappling about the stopping of USA aid. What do you say about this guy?
Yeah, I say that it's high time that Africa should stand for themselves.
Yes.
It's high time that the world knows that the foreign aid has been going from Africa to the rest of the world.
Yes.
They take our minerals, then they bring us, they lie to us with the foreign aid. Yeah.
Of which, if you can look at Africa and see that it is very rich in minerals, the soil is very supportive in terms of agriculture. There is abundance of food. Minerals are so many. And you can look at Congo. It's the only country that is providing the Europeans with the material to make iPhones, which is something we should look at and see what is that Africa is lacking, that it is really cry of the USA aid that has been stopped by Donald Trump, with the plenty of resources it has. What do you say about that?
I say it's high time. Since time immemorial, America, the strongest weapon the America has is the HB1 visa. It's this where he gives scholarships and support to people to go and do everything in America. They develop Africa. Then our people, because we have been whitewashed too much, we choose to remain there than coming back home and developing our own places. Yeah.
And one of the things that I believe Africa is lacking, or where Africa may have some challenges in channeling its energy into forming Africa to be a great continent, is the thing of religion. I've been to European countries and I've seen that people do not spend much of their time in churches. They can actually go for only 2 or 3 hour session and they are done. After that, the sermon is over, the church service is over, they go back and proceed with their industries. But in Africa, unfortunately, if you go to their churches, probably on Sunday tomorrow, you'd find out that a lot of people will be there to church from 10 up to 3 p.m.
It starts from Friday, actually. Friday night kesha up to Sunday night. The whole
So because Africa believes that its problems, its economical problems, its political problems are going to be paged by religion, which is probably not.
It's not. Because the politicians, the people who we as Africans depend on to do the religion, themselves, they just go to church to give the small donations. That's what is keep bringing people to church.
And the bureaucracy system is the one that is affecting fellow Africans. Because it's only the bishop and the pastor who is going to benefit from the church.
So true.
Jesus fed 5,000 people. But today, unfortunately, those who may seem to be representing Jesus
are
the ones that are feeding one man, which is absolutely wrong. That our fellow African brothers and sisters should look at the context at play, right, and with the looks of things as we see them today. We need to make sure that we read the Bible with open eyes so that we know how to interpret it.
Yeah, the same way in the Bible is written. They have eyes but do not see.
Yes.
They have ears but do not hear. The Bible itself says everyone should work because you eat the work of your hands. No one should just wait and touch and proclaim, I possess this, I possess this. You should work for what you want.
And this is the reason why I was even propelled to write this book, The Jungle That Is Not Ours. It is focused more on the mindset. The way we respond to any given stimuli we will actually give you the results, whether we are going to keep on being depressed, being in an aggressive way of doing things simply because you have not chosen to live your life the best way your mindset has set. Yes.
On here across the Jordan, the Manastok, this is a very implication educational book. It teaches us that most Christians, the Africans, ourselves, we always look for going to heaven. But what do we do in between before the time comes?
Yes.
Yeah, where he wrote, occupy till I come, where it's written the same way Jesus said, occupy till I come. What do you do when you occupy?
Yes.
You work, you invest, you do everything to occupy the land till the day that you die or till the day that heaven comes down.
And I feel like it's bad for someone to preach to a young man like you to say that Jesus is coming. Why should you talk about Jesus' advent to a young person like you? First invest. Tell them how are they going to manage a relationship. How are they going to manage a marriage. Because this is where you are leading. Because at the end of the day, if you are to speak about parousia, the second coming of Jesus, with us we focusing on what you are supposed to achieve next. Therefore, we are destroying your future. And across Jordan, the manna stops. Says, therefore, occupy till he comes.
Yes. But most Christians, they look from the Bible, the story that focus more on the downfall part. They don't see the story of Solomon, how he did, of Abraham, how he did, the business that he used to have with the people. Everything. People should read, open their eyes, and see that what has been written there.
And as for me, a lot of people may actually be skeptical about the Bible. They are doubting it. But there are still a lot of stories and facts that we can actually translate for our own good. To see that the journey of the Israelites from a house of bondage, Egypt, to a promised land is pregnant with lessons that we can take into our lives and see how to transform our daily lives. Like the issue of leadership. The problems that Moses faced in the wilderness, being questioned by people about the responsibilities, are the same things we're also doing to our leaders in power today. Why is it that there is scarcity of money? Why is that there is inflation? Why is it that there is no rain? The same questions are being asked by people. So if then people do not able to tap from the tapestry of this story, therefore we also need to make sure that there is a lot of work to do to restore Africa.
There's still a lot of work. First is changing the mindset.
Yes.
That's the basic of everything. When you change the mindset, like you start with schools. You see how Burkina Faso, the president of Burkina Faso started. He has removed the curriculum of the white man. He has created the curriculum that's going to help the children know the basics of everything, the family unit and everything. Now that's where you start. Because the white man, what they're doing now is making sure the family unit is disposed. And the family unit is the first thing that makes a nation. Because the nation, the head of the nation is like the head of the family. So now let's start with the father and the mother. Those are the people who govern the family. Now that's let's say the president and the ministers. So we ask the citizens are the children. So the family unit is the very key important thing. Then in the family unit is where we are taught the mindset. To know what's right, what's wrong, how we think, not to rely on others, but to think of ourselves, about ourselves.
And what post-colonialism is doing is to just make Africans feel like they are less. So there is a problem of superiority versus inferiority complex, which is a psychological syndrome that is in so many of us. I've seen so many ladies bleaching simply because they want to assume a position of white people.
And also I think I blame the people in college, because since me when I was young, all the books, the storybooks we used to read, the colors of the children in the books were white. So you see these people are who are children. As we just the spectators in this life. The dolls, you see the girls playing and plating, they are white dolls with white people's hair. In the other time I was scrolling on Instagram, I'm seeing a girl saying, I wish I had the white girl's hair. I was so shocked.
Very sad.
Very, very sad. The whitewash is too much.
And I was even asking myself about the iPhone. iPhone has so many features that stimulate or that may actually perpetuate an ideology of you becoming a white person. Like the vivid clear and what. These are actually features that can make you become a white person. Of which are they not the same people? Because they are way back made, or they were actually made for the blacks to use, not for the white.
Yeah.
So which means that they are in a post-colonialism to keep on making blacks feel bad about their identity, to make blacks feel bad about their skin color, to make them bad about themselves.
Yeah.
Which is something we should open our eyes and look for.
So in recently last year, Russia, the President Putin opened the archives. Now guess what he found? All the biblical characters of the Bible were black, all of them. So I kept digging in and found the facts. In the year, I think 1870 something, the Queen and the Roman Catholic Church decided to whitewash all the characters of the Bible. They painted Jesus white, the prophets white, all of them. Like the story of Samson. You can't tell me the white man's hair can lock itself. That's so abnormal. So Samson, where this, it's written he had 7 locks. Which hair is the one that locks itself naturally? It's African hair, because this our hair is all the only hair that defies gravity. So he had 7 locks of hair. That's dreadlocks.
Yes, that's dreadlocks.
That's
dreadlocks, which is probably an idea from Africa. Yes, it's an idea from Africa. I also have the same issue. If Russia have decided to see the authenticity of the writings
from the Orthodox Church. Orthodox Church is the first church that produced the Bible itself.
And have you seen that in the Bible there is a conception or an idea that may sound or look like there is a war between men and women, the patriarchism and that of the women. And as I see Roman Catholic Church, it seems to appraise and give accolades to women more. Mother Maria, Mother Mary, Mother Mary, Mother Mary, this and that. And in most cases, which is parallel from, which is not parallel from what we see in the 4 Gospels, the Gospel of John, Mark, Luke, and Matthew. So I believe that religion, as we are given it by these Europeans, is a societal construct that is meant to control humans. And one of the philosophers said that it is an opium of the mind. It numbs masses. And people are being forced to walk in fire.
So true.
To walk over charcoal. And they are actually tiptoeing in that hotness because they are believing that after doing that, there is a free entrance to heaven.
There's no free entrance.
Through torture.
So before the New Testament, there wasn't anything like religion. It was a way of life.
Even Jesus himself did not introduce religion.
Yeah, there's nothing like religion.
There's nothing in
the Old Testament. They were called Israelites, not because they were worshipping. It's their religion. It's their way of life. Because as Israelites, we do this and do this. It's not that because we are Israelites, this is our religion. No. It's a way of life everyone should do. Then now the white man came. Through the white man is how they entered Africa. Through the Christian sword. They did not come in peace. They came and used threats and everything.
Yes.
To make us into Christianity.
And this reminds me of the missionaries who came to Zimbabwe and they spent about 20 years in Matabeleland. Only 3 people got converted into their religion. Because they were so conservative about their culture. They couldn't want to dismiss their culture no matter what. And by that reason, we would find out that those missionaries did not actually persuade the Africans to accept their gospel, but they forced them using gun. And how can you say this person has actually turned into Jesus simply because there was a gun by their side to say, please, if you don't follow Jesus, we are killing you.
We are killing you.
So if there are some intimidation from gunshots that are used for somebody to accept a religion, therefore there is no guarantee that the Lord have accepted them. That means it's a colonial to control humanity.
So-
This is the religion thing.
Even the family, a marriage isn't recognized unless it's done in the church.
Yes,
Where did that come from?
and
So you have done in the church, then you get Christian names.
you know how aggressive it is.
Mm-hmm.
I have my mother, my native name,
Mm-hmm.
the name that I was given since birth.
Mm-hmm.
Then I am baptized to John. I'm baptized to David.
David.
And to believe that the name I was given by mother
Mm-hmm.
and my father
Should be the second.
should be the second. And it doesn't qualify me to the kingdom of heaven.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't.
And only that I am not Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
What about the rest of the people who are not even baptized to those names?
Mm-hmm.
Where are they going?
Mm-hmm.
Is the heaven so big enough to occupy all the people who do not baptize to those names in the Bible?
No.
It's a question that we need to ask ourselves and to see how big is this religion that is baptizing us into the names which are in the Bible, which are in the Quran, which is something that we also need to open our eyes and think more about them.
Yeah, because we can't, because something has been done by the people who are ahead of us, doesn't mean we have to continue.
Yes.
We have our minds. We have to think.
It's now the right time to question ourselves.
Yeah, question everything.
And with the aid of internet, with the aid of all this social media,
information is out there.
And we need to feed our continent with relevant information.
But now the white man was the bishop. Remember what I told you about how they said if you want to hide anything from an African man,
yes,
put it in the books. Because Africans, we don't read. Why don't you read?
Because we don't have the culture. I don't know. And for us to have an effective movement of this Pan-Africanism, we need to have people who develop a culture of reading. Because Chinua Achebe from Nigeria have written more about Pan-Africanism and how Africans should realize and restore their identity.
Yeah, and Ngugi Thiong'o from Kenya also.
Yes.
He's a very big Pan-Africanist.
His name is what?
Ngugi wa Thiong'o.
Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Yes, from Kenya.
From Kenya.
He is a man whom we should, if we have the opportunity to go to libraries, look for his books.
Yeah, he removed his colonial name.
Yes.
He remained with his ancestral name.
Yes.
That was the first thing he did.
Yes. Which is something which is very, very good.
Very, very
I'm also looking forward to change my name.
Mine is on the process.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joshua.
Thank you so much.
I hope to meet you again.
And
to continue our conversation about Pan-Africanism.
Yeah.
I believe one way or the other, we are going there.
Yeah, we are going. One day we'll see the rise of the sun from Africa.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes. And to believe, to make the entire continent that Africa has the ability to speak.
It has the ability.
On its own, about themselves.
And
to see the advantage of being in Africa.
How blessed we are.
How blessed we are.
We have everything the
world
needs.
Not to aspire to get some visas to go to Europe. There is a lot of opportunities in Africa. It's only that we are not seeing it. We are not seeing it.
No, yeah, that's the problem.
And we need therefore to remove those blinkers that are causing us to not see the opportunities.
But the only thing that is going to make us do all this is when we are together.
When we are together.
Because let not the borders between our countries make us think different.
And before we even conclude, one thing I like about Europe, one thing I like about America, is its realization that without unity, they cannot achieve anything.
That's it.
You see the land of England, it is called UK.
UK, yeah.
Because it's United
Kingdoms.
You see the land of America, it is called
United America.
USA.
USA.
United States of America. There are many states in America, so is Africa. We can also have United States of Africa, which is a USA.
USA.
USA. USA.
Yeah, I've got it.
United States of America.
Or
yes, United States of Africa. The same with the United States of America.
But let's not forget that there are people, the African Union and some of these organizations are African-born. They are doing things, reparations, doing stuff. Like last year they created the National African Army, and it was in Swahili. So when we get a national language that is going to be the basis of all the languages in Africa, is going to help. So we stop using the Portuguese and this colonial language. We use the ones that we have.
Unfortunately, about Uganda, I have heard that they use an English language to to. In their national anthem, they have English language, which is something strange.
For you.
It means sometimes we need to work more on that to make sure that we have our. Of course, let's choose the Bantu language, which is Swahili, to make sure that Africa has a map to focus more on. And our curriculums in schools, there must be curriculums that support Africanism. Africa has to have a language which is Swahili, which is spoken about. 65% of people in Africa speaks Swahili language. So let's teach students from primary school, from nursery school, primary school, high school, universities. People should
in the airports, yes. They should greet welcome. Then they put it in
Swahili. Yes.
So nowadays I see
they
put other languages.
Yes, let Swahili language be a compulsory subject in every schools.
In every place that can be. Yeah, with what it means.
Yes. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much.
Looking forward to